Yo, 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 what's up here, man? We got Ernesto here. How you doing, Genesis Strength? Hey, I just want to come and introduce myself. My name is Ernesto Torres. I'm here at the beautiful Warhouse Gym. This is one of my best gyms, one of the best gyms in San Diego, so come check it out. So I just want to talk a little bit, about where Genesis Strength comes from, my origins. Pretty much the name Genesis, that's my daughter's name. I started this for about, maybe I want to say about 6-7 years ago. And actually my daughter's the one that came up with this idea. Her and I, our whole thing is we wanted to help people. She's seen me, how it goes through, how it's changed me and helped me in my life in the gym and all that. That's where Genesis Strength come in. That's where the origins come from. We wanted to help people, so this is our basis of Genesis Strength. So a little bit about my background. So for those of you guys who don't know me, like how I got into this fitness, like the whole fitness world and all that, it actually started when I was a very young kid, when I was 6 years old. That was back in 1990. It's been a long time. So, I got into football. I grew up playing football, from 6 years old, 7 years old, all the way up until I was in high school. And actually it was in high school was when the first time I ever seen a weight room, like in my life. I was in the military too, so of course that expanded my horizons as far as training. I got out of the military, then I started getting more into arena football. I started getting more into, semi-pro football and all that. So I actually hired trainers back then to actually get me, faster and stronger and bigger at that time. And that, just knowledge upon knowledge and years of, working with different, bodybuilders, working with different athletes, working with different, powerlifters and things of that sort. I've also had experience working with powerlifters. I've actually hired powerlifting coaches, for a few years. I did a little bit of that. And now as I'm getting older, obviously I don't play football anymore. That was a long time ago. Now I'm getting more into the longevity of my body. I'm doing more mobility work. I'm doing a lot more functional work, weight loss work. Now I'm learning a lot more bodybuilding. That's one of the things that I've never really got into that much. So I'm doing more like a hybrid cross bodybuilding training. And, I actually hired a coach and he actually taught me a little bit more about dieting, a little bit more about, how to work out as a bodybuilder. So that, so I'm always constantly evolving when it comes to training. So, that's a little bit about my background. So today what I want to do is I want to actually show an exercise, give a couple little tips and tricks, something I wish that I had when I was young. Back when I was young, there was no YouTube, there was no Instagram, there was none of that stuff, So I remember when I was a kid, the only information I had when it came to learning an exercise, I would go to the magazine section in the grocery store and I would just tear off a page of like, so-and-so's workout and, I would just look at, okay, do the numbers, eat this, what he eats. You go to the gym and you just do that. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have anyone to teach me. I couldn't look on a video or nothing like that. So I think what's pretty cool now is that I'm able to, teach you guys and give you guys some tips about, how to work out, how to do what we do in here. So that's the basis. That's what we started Genesis Strength for. So we're gonna get after it. All right, so two things you're gonna need. Obviously, if it's a bench press, you're gonna need a bench. So we're gonna bench over here. All right, so now one of the tips also that I really want to emphasize also is you don't have to, this is a squat rack, of course. It doesn't have to be done on a squat rack. It doesn't have to be done on the Smith machine. It doesn't have to be done, on the dumbbells or any one of the cable machines. I mean, it's a pretty universal movement as far as the bench press. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this just because this is what I know the best. And I think you can pretty much get the best bang for your buck using the free weight. So the only thing we're gonna need now is we got a bench, we got a rack, we just need a bar. So let's go get a bar. All right, so we got one of the red bars over here. Now, when it comes to the bars, there's different kinds of bars. I know not a lot of people explain about bars, about knurls. So this one has a center knurl. So usually with these bars, it's more like a universal bar. Usually if it has a center knurl, it's usually a squat bar. Sometimes it will have like a soft, smooth middle to it. So that's usually a deadlift bar. You can kind of tell if it's a wider bar. But this one's actually a universal bar. I can tell just by the knurl right here is a lot smaller. It's not wider. And I can also tell, and it's just experience, I can also tell this is a 45-pound bar. It's not a 55-pound bar as opposed to like a squat bar, like a Texas squat bar. Usually when it comes to a deadlift bar, they have a lot of whip to it. So that's why when you pull and you notice that the bar bends, that's what the whip is. So this bar actually doesn't really have that. So we're gonna use this bar. It's more of a universal bar, so let's get it, let's go. All right, so one of the tips also that I do when I do a bench press is, I don't wanna get too much into detail as far as, like morphology with the body, the samoid types, the ectomorph, mesomorph. shoulder, how long their arm is compared to their torso. There's a lot of key factors when it comes to that. But the main thing you want to remember is that whenever you're doing a push movement, you want to have the bar where it's going towards the bottom of your sternum. So the way that I'm setting this up for me, now again, it's going to be different from you as opposed to me. So the way that I'm going to set this up is I'm going to set the bar and I'm going to adjust it so that way when I lower the bar, I'm not picking it up too high, I'm not picking it up too low, I'm picking it up just enough angles just so I can take it off the rack. And so when I go down, it won't hit the rack, and it also goes down to where the bottom of my sternum is. So we got the bench press set up there. Yo, it took me a while to do that. Hey, I'm getting older, man, so it took me a while to set up the bench and the bar. And as you can see on the bar, I'm not doing no weight. I know y'all want to see, how much he's maxing and all that. I ain't doing none of that, all right? I'm 38 years old, so we don't do that no more. Now, I'm just here to give you guys some tips, all right? So there's a lot of different, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can do bench press and all that. But when it comes to, whether you're doing powerlifting, whether you're doing bodybuilding, there's always three main things that you have to work, that are always universal. So it's always bar path, it's always your leg drive, and it's also pretty much how you lay down on the bench. All right, so I'm gonna go over those 3 points and we'll go through it together. So the first thing I'm gonna do is when I get down on the bench, what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna feel the bench a little bit. So what I'm gonna also do is I'm gonna grab the bar. So before I set up how I want my hands on the bar, I'm gonna go ahead and pinch my back. So it's almost like I'm trying to grab the bench with my back, okay? So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to arch my back a little bit. And also what that does is it also engages my lats. Because a lot of the bench press, your power also does come from your lats, okay? What I'm also trying to do is, again, my feet, I'm trying to get my feet set up. So are my feet flat in the ground? Do I have enough power to give? Because remember, your bench press also comes a lot from your foot drive. So it's like a kinetic change. So as I'm going down and when I come up, I'm also using leg drive to come up. And also what's important, so after you get the grip on your bar, what's also important is bar path, okay? So when you're doing your bar path, you don't want to have it way down here. Obviously you don't want to have it way up because you're going to hit the rack. What you want to do is when you're coming down, you want to have it to where it's going right to the bottom of your sternum. All right, so right where the abs and right where your sternum meets, that's where the bar path comes. That's where the bar path is going down, all right? So remember the key points. The whole entire time I have my back pinched against the bar, I have my feet sturdy on the ground, and my bar path is always the same, just like so. All right, so remember the 3 key points when it comes to the bench press, and what was that? That was the bar path, that was the foot placement, and that's also how you lay on the bench. So it's pretty much retracting your back onto the bench. Those are the 3 key points. Don't forget them. So yo, this is Ernesto Torres here at Genesis Strength. We're here at the Warhouse Gym. Yo, we're gonna have content every week. So I want you guys to be on the lookout for that, okay? Like and subscribe to the channel and come check out Warhouse Gym. Yo, this is the best gym in San Diego, man. I'm telling you, the best private gym in San Diego. And if you see Genesis Strength on Instagram, if you see us on YouTube, give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, leave a comment. And as always, I'm always looking for feedback. So if you guys have anything to say, you guys want to reach out to me, and I'll see you guys later.